Good evening to everyone. Welcome to the program. Yes, Sandeep, do you want to ask a question? Please go ahead. Now, yesterday, I told you how to write the title for the research as well as the title for the paper. So I hope you have understood how the title has to be written. Any question you want to ask, then I am proceeding further. Now, once you have written the title, now you know how to write title of research as well as paper. Now I am moving ahead. Once you have written the title, then how will you be writing? Saina, you do not know what is the dependent variable and what is the independent variable. You cannot ask me, may we consider personality as a dependent variable? I cannot tell you because it is incomplete question. So incomplete question, you will not get answer from me. If you have a complete question, then you ask me, I will give you the reply. It is the incomplete question. So dear friends, now I'm taking the title of the paper and I will write the objective. Then I will take the title of the research and I will write objectives. Because whether you are writing a paper or you are writing a thesis, you have to write objective. I only like to tell you, if you are writing a paper and if you are the beginner, you should not have many objectives. Why? If you have more objectives, then the length of your paper will increase and therefore you will not be able to get your paper published because the length of the paper will increase, so people will not publish it. Yes, the online journal, they may be able to publish because they charge money. Otherwise, normally, no journal will publish. Shiny, you don't know what is independent variable and what is dependent variable. Gender cannot be an independent variable. It is a discontinuous variable. So, Saina, you don't know what are variables. I have already told you yesterday. The variables are not what you are saying. It is wrong. So therefore, for writing the paper, my suggestion is that you should, if you are a beginner, you should have one objective or two objectives, so that your length of the paper may be of 5 pages or 6 pages. But once you are an established researcher, then you may write a paper which may be of 20 pages or 30 pages. It doesn't make a difference because you are an established researcher and you have published, so you can have many. So let us take one title of the paper and then let me tell you how to write the objective. And I'm taking the title which I gave you yesterday and for which you have the qualitative data. So let us say you have this as a title of the paper. This I told you. So I'm taking the same, so that there is a continuity. The title of the paper is this. Now you must write the objective. I will tell you the format of the paper little later, but first try to understand the major aspect of it. So how to write objective? It's better to write objective than it is one. But if you say objectives, then it has to be more than one. I can write many objectives for this. Say I'm writing like this to compare methods of teaching science by male and female teachers. Or if you like, I can say to compare methods of teaching physics, because science makes physics, chemistry, mathematics. So I can say methods of teaching physics. Then I can have another one. Methods of teaching chemistry. Then I can have another one. Methods of teaching botany. Then I can have another one. Methods of teaching geology. I can have. Now, if you like, I can have like this also. So I can write as many objectives as you like, no problem. But for paper, please don't write so many. I may have another one to compare methods of teaching physics by male and female teachers belonging to urban area. Then this I can say belonging to urban area. Here also I can say belonging to urban area. Here also I can say belonging to urban area. Next I can say belonging to the rural area. So this will be the sixth one, and this is the seventh one, and this will be the eighth one. So I can write as many objectives as you want. And this will be the qualitative research. And for qualitative research, you cannot write hypothesis. So there will be no hypothesis. Now, if you have the title of the research, which is qualitative in nature, if this is your title of the paper, title of the thesis, if the title of the thesis is if this is the title of the thesis, you can write the same objectives. Whatever objective you have written earlier, you can write the same objective, absolutely no problem. So the objective for the paper and for your thesis may be the same because the wording doesn't differ. So you can write the same, no problem at all. But only you must know the title of paper is different from the title of the thesis. But the objective which you have written in the thesis, the same objective you can write for the paper. No problem at all. So this is the one example I have taken where you will be writing a paper. I have taken title and objectives I have written. Then I have taken the title of the thesis and I have written the objective. Now, should I take one more example or is it all right? Do you want more example of the qualitative research or is it all right? Okay, let me take one more. I'm writing the title of the paper. Bahadur, what do you want? Other stream means what? So if I say social problems of class 8 students of private schools of Delhi. If I have this as my title, then I can write the objectives like this. Bahadur, which other subject? Do you want physics? Should I take another example from physics or chemistry or music or dance? So the objective can be to compare social problems of urban and rural students. I can have to compare social problems of students belonging to large and belonging to nuclear families and joint families. Another I can write Why should I take from economics? You take. I do not have time. I can't keep on taking from different subjects. If you understand, then you use this particular understanding to write your own. I am taking as an example, so you can have your own, no problem. To compare social problems of urban and rural students belonging to nuclear family. Your fourth can be to compare social problems of urban and rural students belonging to joint families. So like this, you can write the title like this, and you can write the objective. Let me write the title for the research. I'm taking the same example, and now I'm writing the title for the research. This is title for paper. I'm taking research. Research, you have to write a study of, because without writing a study of, it does not become. Okay, a study of social problems of class 8 students of private schools of Delhi. Now, the same objectives can be written. Absolutely no problem at all. So if you want more, you can write more, or otherwise the same objective you can write for the research paper as well as for the research. The title will differ. So that is what is more important for you. No, you cannot write to study different social problems of students. No, that is wrong. When you are studying the social problems, they are different. You need not to write the word different. Once we say social problems, they have to be different. Some may not have different. Some may have some common social problems. So you cannot write Sahu. No, you can't write that. So I've taken the two examples of the qualitative research, where you can write the title of the paper and where you can write the title of the thesis, and you write the title of the objective also. Now I'm going ahead with a quantitative data. Yes, Bahadur, you can write like this. To compare per capita income, no. You are saying per capita income of urban and urban area people. This is not correct. How can you have urban and urban? How can you compare? And per capita income is not a qualitative data, it will be quantitative data. Now let me take one example of quantitative. So how to write the paper for the quantitative? So let me take a variable, and this variable I am taking very simple, achievement in Hindi. Suppose this is my variable and the data will be the quantitative. No, Krishan Kumar. No, you cannot put a full stop. A case study of Department of Physical Education, Banaras Hindu University. Now you must know what is case. Case means where something unusual. What is unusual thing, either positive or negative, which Department of Physical Education, BHU, is having? I don't see any very different activities. So if you want to do the case study, then it must be very, very different. You can't do it. This is not all right. So if achievement in Hindi, so if I write the title for the paper, I can say achievement in Hindi of class 10th students of class 10th students of schools of Jaipur. Now please see, I did not write the government schools, I did not write the private schools. I have written schools of Jaipur. Now, I know when you have the quantitative data, then you know you can either compare or you can study the relationship. These things you must have done it. So I'm taking a objective where I have to compare. I can't take the relationship here. For relationship, I will write another title and I will tell you. So my objective will be I can write objective like this, to compare mean scores of achievement in Hindi of urban and rural students. Another I can say to compare mean scores of achievement in the of male and female students. I can write another one to compare mean scores of achievement in Hindi of students studying in government senior secondary schools and private schools. I can have another one to study the influence of gender, parents, occupation, and their interaction on achievement in the so like this. If you like, I can write still more. Now, if you are writing something like this, then you know if this is my, then I have to analyze the data with the help of t-test. And for the second also, I have to analyze with the help of t-test. For the third, also I have to analyze with the help of t-test. But the fourth one, I cannot. This I do two-way ANOVA. If you want, you can have something like this also. To compare adjusted mean scores of achievement in India of students studying in government, senior secondary schools and private schools by considering their vocabulary as covariate. By considering their vocabulary in Hindi as covariate. And if I have this as my objective, it is one-way ANOVA. All these things I have already explained in my earlier webinars. And this webinar is the one where I only have to tell you how to write objective. I can't go back and keep on explaining what is ANOVA, what is ANCOVA. I cannot. Now, if you want, you can write another one. That to compare adjusted mean scores of achievement in the of urban and rural students by considering their vocabulary in Hindi as covariate. So here also you have to analyze with the help of one-way ANCOVA. If you want, you can write like this also. To study the influence of gender, parents' occupation, and their interaction on achievement in Hindi of students by considering Here it will be ANCOVA. So you can write T, you can analyze the data with the help of t-test with the help of one-way or two-way ANOVA, two-way ANCOVA, one-way ANCOVA. So like this, you can write as many objectives as you like. I'm not very sure whether you have studied all these things or not. If not, then you may not be able to appreciate. But in this short webinar, I cannot go back and keep on doing what I have done earlier in 1 month time. Now I'm taking the title for the thesis. The title for the thesis is that here you only have to say or study of. So just write these 3 words. It becomes the title of the thesis and you can write the same objectives. So do you want that should I take another example of experimental design or experimental research or not? Do you want me to write the title for experimental research and objectives or not? Now, I'm taking another DIPRA. I don't know what you have written. You have written tools for comparing qualitative data. There are no tools. There are statistical techniques for comparing the qualitative data. You do not have tools for comparing qualitative data. I don't know. I know there are there are qualitative techniques to analyze the data. And when I come to the data analysis, then I will tell you, not right now. So let me write one title of research, of experimental research. I'm writing the title for experimental research. A study of effect. A study of effect of thinking strategy on creativity of BA first year students of private college of Jabalpur. Now this is the title of the experimental research. You must use the word effect. And now, if this is the one, then how do I write my objective? Now, I'll tell you that you should know the experimental design. And if you do not know the experimental design, it will be very difficult to understand and appreciate what I am writing. Now, experimental design are of three types. One is called pre-experimental design. Another is called quasi-experimental design. And another is called true experimental design. Now, true experimental designs are used only in science. You cannot use it in social science. The quasi-experimental designs are appropriate for humanities and social sciences. And pre-experimental design is not to be used for research, not to be used for PhD degree research. It is to be used only in case of for conducting action research. So this is what you should know. Now I am taking the quasi-experimental design. There are many quasi-experimental design, but one of the very popular design is called non-equivalent control group design. It's a very, very popular design, the most applicable in social sciences and humanities. So in this particular design, you will have the two groups, minimum two groups you have, and these two groups are non-equivalent. Non-equivalent means both the groups differ with respect to some of the characteristics. These groups are not the matched groups. So then you pre-test them both with the help of same tool, and then you give treatment to any one of them. If you are giving a treatment to this group, and if the treatment continues for 3 months, then this will be your control group. Here also the same content is to be taught for 3 months, not with the help of the treatment that you are giving, but with the help of the lecture method or traditional method. After the end of the 3 months, you again administer the same tool. So therefore you have the pre-test and you have the post-test also. Now, if this is the one, then how do I write objective? I can write objective like this. I can write objective to compare adjusted. So it was a creativity. So I have administered the creativity before the treatment and after the treatment in both the groups. So to compare adjusted mean scores of creativity of cognitive research trust group and lecture method group. By considering pre-creativity as covariate. If this is the wording of the objective, then here you will be analyzing the data with the help of one way ANCOVA. Why one way? Because there is one discontinuous variable having two levels. One is cognitive research trust group, another is a lecture method group. I can write another one to study the effect of. Here I can use the word effect because it is an experimental study. If it would have been a survey study, then I would not have written the word effect. A study of effect of thinking strategy, gender, and their interaction on creativity of students by considering their pre-creativity, as covariate. We do not write pre-creativity score just because you have to write the name of the variable and score is the value. So you have to write the creativity. If this is my wording of the objective, then here it will be two-way ANCOVA, or you can say the thinking strategy has got two levels and gender also has got two levels. So it is called 2 by 2 factorial design ANCOVA. So these are the two names which you should understand. I can have another one. To study the effect of thinking strategy, gender, locale, and their various interactions. on creativity of student by considering their pre-creativity as a covariate. Here, I have the three discontinuous variable, so it will be 3-way ANCOVA, and it will be 2 by 2 by 2 factorial design ANCOVA, because the locale will also have the urban and rural. If you want to have semi-urban, then it will become 3. So like this, if you want, you can write some more, no problem at all. You can say to compare, to study the effect of thinking strategy, gender, and their interaction on creativity of students by considering their pre-creativity and self-confidence as covariates. So here also it is the 2-way, but here I have taken 2 covariate. Earlier it was 1 covariate. So you can have another, no problem at all. You can change this also. So you can take as many covariates as you like. By considering pre-creativity and self-confidence as covariates. So if you want to write more objectives, you can write. Now, if you want to write the paper, objective will remain the same. Only the title of the paper will change. So I am just changing the title of the paper. Rest things will remain the same. So I am writing the title of the paper, you can see here. Now here it is, effect of thinking strategy on creativity of BA first year students of private colleges of Java. So the title of the paper is this one. So you have, the moment you write the word effect, it means it has to be an experimental study. If, do you want, should I write a title by using the word influence? Do you want me to write the title by using the word influence? So the objective will remain the same. So now you have seen that the objective of the paper and the thesis will remain the same, but the title of the paper and thesis will change. Rest will remain the same. It doesn't matter. Now let me have another. Now, Sao, I don't know what you say. Yes, sir. Now I am taking another example of a title of research I am taking. A study of achievement in science in relation to reasoning and self-confidence of class 12 students or class 10th students or 9th student, let us say. Of government senior secondary school. Of Ahmedabad. Suppose this is my title of the research. I will write one by using, don't worry about it. If this is my title, then I can write objective like this. I can write to study the correlation between achievement in science and reasoning of students. I can write another objective to study the correlation between achievement in science and reasoning of male and female students separately. If I write this, I use correlation. Product movement correlation. And when I write even this, it's the same technique which I have to use. I can write another one to study the correlation between achievement in science and self-confidence of students. And here also I can write the self-confidence of male and female students. Another I can write to study joint contribution of of reasoning and self-confidence to study joint contribution of reasoning and self-confidence in predicting achievement in science of students. If I have this, then I have to use multiple correlation. I can write like this also. To study joint contribution of reasoning and study and self-confidence in predicting achievement in science of male and female students separately. I can write another one. This is 7. To study individual contribution of reasoning and self-confidence in predicting achievement in science of students. Here you have to use the regression analysis. I can write another one. To study individual contribution of reasoning and self-confidence in predicting achievement in science of male and female students separately. So like this, if you like, you can still write more. So if you have to convert this into a paper, then it has to be written something like this. So title for the research paper, the title will be like this. This is the title for the research paper. Achievement in science in relation to reasoning and self-confidence of class 9th student of government senior secondary schools of Ahmedabad. So now you just change the title. Objective will remain the same. But the number of objective you can decide, as I suggested you. If you are writing the paper for the first time, please do not write many objectives. Try to restrict yourself to the 2 objectives or only 1 objective. Because if you have large number of objectives, the paper length will increase and you may not be able to get it published. Okay, now let me write the word influence. I'm writing the research title A Study of Job Satisfaction of in thesis. You can have if you want 50 objective, you can have 50 objective, no problem. If you want to have 100 objective, you can have 100. There is no limit in thesis. But in paper, once you have started understanding, then you can have 10 objectives, no problem. Then you can write a paper which runs into 50 pages, no problem. But first try to understand how, without having a proper grip over the research methodology, you can't write a good paper. So our study of job satisfaction of teachers of private colleges of Kanpur. If this is my title, then I can write the objective something like this. I can write to study the influence of gender, marital status, and their interaction on job satisfaction of teachers. If this is my objective, then here I have to use two-way and cover. Or gender has got 2 levels, and if marital status has got 3 levels, then 2 by 2 factorial design and ANOVA. So this is the one objective that you can write. Another objective can be to study influence of gender, locale, and their interaction on job satisfaction of teachers. So it can be 2 by 2 factorial design ANOVA. I can have another one to study influence of gender, marital status, locale, and their various interactions. On job satisfaction of teachers. So here you have 2 by 3 by 2 factorial design ANOVA. Yes, it is two-way ANOVA, that's correct. So if you want, you can write some more. a study of influence of discipline. Discipline means art, science, and commerce. So this will be 3. This will be 3 and by 2. So therefore you can have, this can be another objective. Do you want, should I write some more objective using the word influence, or is it all right? So use effect word in case of experimental study. Use influence word in case of survey study. So do you want some more examples, or these are enough? It is separately I'm sorry, Badhu, I cannot do, because there are different variables. So you will have here the influence of gender on job satisfaction, marital status of job satisfaction, locale of job satisfaction, that gender and marital. Say here, you will have the answer of these 3. One is the gender, then another the marital status. If I call it B, and the third one is the locale. If I call it C. These are called main effects. So this is the main effect. And this is another main effect. So there will be 3 main effects. And then you will have interaction between the gender and marital status, between gender and locale, and then you will have the marital status and locale. This is called first order interaction. All these I have explained in my earlier lectures. I'm not supposed to do now, but I'm just doing it so that you start understanding it. So this will be A interaction, B interaction, C. This is the second order interaction. So here we have the first order interaction and we have the second order interaction. That is why I have written interactions. So I hope you have understood it. If you want, you can use, but I don't know, because I don't know whether you will be using it appropriately or not, but it can be used. So now I have told you how to write title for the research, how to write title for the paper, how to write objective for the research, and how to write objective for the paper. So I have done the first part. Now, once you have written the title and the objective, if you are doing a quantitative research, then you must write the hypothesis. And if you are not doing a quantitative research, then you need not to write the hypothesis. So if you have the qualitative data, you need not to write the hypothesis. So for qualitative data, research, no hypothesis is required. But if you have the quantitative data, then you must write the hypothesis. Now, so therefore, the second step is I have completed the first step. Identification of problem I have done. Now I am going to second, formulation of hypothesis. Now, I'm not going to tell you the details of the hypothesis because I presume that you must be knowing it. And if you do not know, then I cannot help because in 1 week I cannot do everything. I hope you know the definition of hypothesis. That I can tell you. A hypothesis is the tentative solution of the problem. Another is hypothesis is the intelligent guess about the solution of the problem. And the third is hypothesis is the conjectural statement about the relationship between variables. Now, these are the 3 definitions of the hypothesis. And you know, it is not a final solution, it is a tentative solution. It is not a guess, it is the intelligent guess. So it is a conjectural statement, a tentative statement about the relationship between variables. Now that means it's not final. And in order to make it final, you have to have the data and then you have to test it. And for testing, you need a statistical technique. And for statistical technique, you need quantitative data. So if you have the quantitative data, you can analyze with the help of a statistical technique. Then you can test the hypothesis. Then you must formulate the hypothesis. But if you have qualitative data which cannot be analyzed with the help of a statistical technique. You cannot test the hypothesis and you should not formulate the hypothesis. I repeat, if you have the qualitative data, you cannot analyze it with the help of a statistical technique and you cannot test the hypothesis, so you should not formulate the hypothesis. So hypothesis cannot be the step of research in qualitative research. It cannot be the step in philosophical research, in historical research, in descriptive survey research, and in case study research. It can be the step only and only in correlational survey and experimental research. Otherwise, you cannot have it. Now, so I have given you the definition of the hypothesis. Now, then you must know the basis of formulating the hypothesis, which I am not going to tell you. Next is types of hypothesis. Do you know how many types of hypothesis you know? Can you name the types of hypothesis? Kindly name the types of hypothesis which you know.
Directional or non-directional?
No, these are wrong. The types of hypotheses are three. One is called research hypothesis. Another is called statistical hypothesis. And another is called operational hypothesis. So you cannot, so these are the three types of hypothesis. Now there are forms of hypothesis. भाई आपने इनको unmute क्यों कर दिया? नहीं, not at all. इसमें किसी को भी अनम्यूट नहीं करना है. ये 15 दिन का हो तो बात अलग है, क्योंकि ये 15 दिन में तो आए नहीं. अब मैं 5 दिन में क्या क्या समझाऊं? इनको अनम्यूट कर दो फटाफट. So these are the three types of hypothesis which you should have understood. Then there are forms of hypothesis, and there are two forms. One is called null form and another is called directional form, or you can say alternative form.
सर आपका भी म्यूट हो गया, एक बार प्लीज ओपन कर लीजिए.
So null form, directional form, or alternative form. These are the forms. These are not the types of hypothesis. Then you must know the wording of the hypothesis. And in wording, you must know which tense you should use, and you must use the word significant or significance. Then you should know the testing of hypothesis. If you do not know, then my dear friend, you cannot write paper and you cannot write your thesis. So testing of the hypothesis, you should know the degree of freedom, level of significance. Then you should know one-tail test and two-tail test. And finally, you should know the type 1 error and type 2 error. So this much you must know. So now let me take the example of the quantitative one, and let me tell you how to formulate the hypothesis. So I'm taking the same example which I have already taken, so that it is easy for you to understand. So this is the paper, and these are the objectives which I wrote for you. So let me now write the hypothesis for, so that you have all these three at one place. Now this is the title of the paper, and this was the title I wrote, and these were the objectives. Now I am formulating the hypothesis. So because here it is the achievement in math in Hindi, so you will have the quantitative data, so you can formulate hypothesis. So I'm formulating the hypothesis. I am formulating hypothesis in the null form. So how will I change? These objectives I'm changing. This will be, there is no significant difference in, there is no significant difference in mean scores of achievement in Hindi of urban and rural students. This I can copy and I will change in the second one also. There is no significant difference in mean scores of achievement in Hindi of male and female students. Then another is, there is no significant difference in mean scores of achievement in Hindi of students studying in government schools, senior secondary schools, and private schools. Then another will be here, there is no significant influence. So there is no significant influence of gender parent occupation and their interaction on achievement in Hindi of students. Here will be, there is no significant difference in adjusted mean scores of achievement in Hindi of students studying in government senior secondary school, private schools, by considering their vocabulary in Hindi as a covariate. Then here it will be that there is no significant difference in adjusted mean scores of achievement in Hindi of urban and rural students by considering their vocabulary in Hindi as covariates. And then this will be, there is no significant influence of gender, parents' occupation, and their interaction on achievement in Hindi by considering their vocabulary in Hindi as a covariate. So this is how you can change your objectives into the hypothesis. Do you want some more example of how to formulate hypothesis, or you can now do it for everything? Do you want another for how to write hypothesis? I'm waiting for your responses. Should I write the hypothesis for others, or is it all right? Now, if you want to convert it into the directional, you can, provided you have a strong base. That if you write like this, there is a significant difference. Now, this is not in the null form, this becomes a directional form. But in order to formulate hypothesis in the directional form, you must have a very, very, very strong base. And if you do not have a strong base, then you should not formulate hypothesis in the directional form. So I have told you how to write title, objective, and hypothesis for the paper. Title, objective, and hypothesis for the thesis. Now, this is for the, so should I do for the thesis also, or is it all right? Is it all right, or should I write for thesis also? All right. Then tomorrow I'm going to tell you how to write the paper, because I have told you how to write title, how to write objective, and how to write hypothesis. So now I can tell you what other things that you have to write as far as the paper is concerned. So I will be talking about the paper writing in total tomorrow. And then the 2 days I will devote for writing the thesis, because thesis is much bigger than the paper. So thank you very much. Any question you want to ask before I say bye-bye to you? If there is a question to ask, you can ask the question. No, this is wrong. Sao, this is wrong. The wording is wrong. Sao, I have already written. Why can't you understand what I write? You take down the notes and try to read it. All right. Thank you very much.